Hello, League City. I'm here with Mayor Long for another short talk with Mayor Long. A couple of months ago, Council passed an ordinance regarding marina safety, and there's been some updates to that ordinance.
Yeah, absolutely. At the last council meeting, we made a couple of key changes to that. And just to kind of refresh about why we even passed this ordinance in the first place, we had a couple of marinas in town where there were issues. There was just a variety of different issues, from crime to derelict boats that were life and safety issues, to illegal dumping of both petrochemicals and human waste in the marinas. And so there was a variety of these different issues. So we created an ordinance to address some of those. And after feedback from a variety of the stakeholders, from the marinas, the marina owners, some of the people that are liveaboards on the boats, we made a variety of changes. And some of those changes, liberalized the ordinance, and some of them really actually ratcheted down a little bit. And so a couple of those changes being the original ordinance was pretty tight on the number of days you could spend on the boat before you had to go get a permit. We extended that a little bit. And really what we heard when we listened to the liveaboards is there's a lot of people that just use their boats on the weekends and maybe during the summer. And we certainly don't want to catch those people up in the ordinance. It's really for the people that permanently live on the boat. So we liberalized that a little bit. The other side of it is if you failed, originally you were not allowed to apply for a whole nother year.
Oh, okay.
And that really wasn't the intent, right? We want just really what we want, and want the boats to be safe, and we want you to follow the rules. So we changed that to allow people to fix the issues that were identified and then reapply once they fixed them. So it should be a little bit easier to work with. The other one, which we really ratcheted down a little bit, is in talking to the marinas and a lot of the liveaboards, is they wanted to see a more stringent requirements to prevent dumping. And, I think that makes sense. The good actors, the people that just want to live on their boats, they don't want to live next to a person dumping human waste into the water. Right. And obviously that ruins what they're trying to do. Nobody wants to live near that. And so we made a couple of key changes to really enforce the fact that we are not going to allow you just to dump waste into the waterways. And so we worked with everybody and put those together, and I feel pretty good that moving forward, we have a very workable system in order to control what's happening and make sure we have a bunch of good neighbors and a nice place to live on the boats, and for the homeowners that are near those marinas.
I think this is a really good example of government listening to their constituents, because we passed the ordinance and then we heard from folks and got some feedback. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so we had a couple of dire situations, and particularly at one marina, and something needed to get done immediately. And so we came forth with the ordinance after spending about 6 months working on it. But when that came out, we heard from the people. We heard from the owners of marinas. We heard from the homeowners that live near the marinas, and we heard from the liveaboards themselves. And so we kind of took a variety of different meetings. So me and several of the councilmen sat down and went through the concerns of all those different constituencies. And afterwards, we really realized that everybody was pretty much aligned. Everybody wants the marinas to be safe and clean, and nobody wants to live next to an environmental hazard. And so kind of talking through everything, we really came to the conclusion that everybody was really pulling in the same way. We heard some of their concerns. We looked back at the ordinance, really what it was trying to accomplish, and realized, hey, there's certain areas where we can bend and make it easier and just easier to work with. And then there was areas where, really hearing from the citizens, they wanted to see it more punitive and really make sure that with this illegal dumping is not going to be tolerated. So we spent a lot of time making sure we got it right. And we can already see the fruits from doing this, the fruits from passing the original ordinance. It's already significantly improved at a couple of the problem marinas, and just hearing reports from the liveaboards and the people that live near the marina, they're already satisfied with what they're seeing. So it has had the proper effects, and we're glad to see it take place. Another one that we actually passed at the council meeting last night is another example of kind of listening to people and trying to affect real change. Over the past, several years, we've seen prevalence of, homeless moving in and illegally camping in various areas. And this could be in the woods, this could be behind closed businesses. And really, it's just, League City is not the proper place to do that. There's a variety of different issues that come with that. And so we passed an ordinance to prevent unauthorized public camping. And so that will go into place in the next 30 days. And then on top of that, we've instructed our mental health officers to reach out to these people and to provide some level of social services. So to get them to a more appropriate place, whether that be a shelter, whether that be a variety of different resources that we have. And I think what we've heard from people is, yes, it's not safe, it's not clean, it's not in anybody's best interest to publicly camp. And so we're going to use our resources to help them get to places that are more appropriate. And then at the same time, simply say that it is not allowed in League City.
Well, thank you for joining us for another short talk with Mayor Long, and thank you for joining us as well.
Sure.